Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness, Vanessa Collins, and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings, Vanessa Collins, and Katrina Ness.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable's After Dark show. Today, we have three very powerful individuals within the automotive industry to discuss new owner service clinics. Please welcome AJ Holst, Linda Hansen, and Ann Lister.
Oh, welcome, everybody. AJ, Linda, and Ann, thank you so much for being here tonight. Honored to have you. Haven't seen some of you in a while, so this was all, Katrina, this was all prompted by Ann Lister 2 weeks ago when she was on the show. And Ann, we started talking about new owner clinics, and here we are.
I know, crazy.
So great stuff. And Katrina, I got to apologize. I got a sunburn over the weekend, so, you know.
It's
Rub
okay.
it in.
So.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, so Katrina, looks like you may get a sunburn as well where you are.
Yes, it is. Actually, I went to the beach yesterday. It was cloudy, UV of 5, and I got a really bad sunburn. But I gotta love summer, and you gotta love the sun, so I'm not too mad about it.
All right. And Katrina, we're live tonight, right?
Yes, we are. You can see the comments rolling in. Sean Kingre's here. Happy Monday.
Yep. So, and Katrina and Vanessa, we'll see you soon on Wednesday, the 26th at Northwood University at the Great Fixed Ops Day. And Sean Kingre will be with us. Tony Owens, good evening, will be with us as well. Everybody, you're all invited. Northwood University is in Midland, Michigan, Wednesday, June 26th for our full tank auto camp. We're having a particular day just dedicated to fixed ops. A lot of activities, a lot of panels. We're going to be broadcasting that as well. It starts early in the morning at 8 o'clock, and it goes throughout the day. And Katrina, you got a number of breakout panels as well.
Yes, we do. We're looking forward to it. We're going to start the day with some panels, just, what we've done in the past for pop-up events. And then we'll go into some breakout sessions where we will get the automotive industry professionals mingling with the students or the campers per se. And we'll have some different breakout sessions and case studies almost to discuss where, we will get to lead these campers into forming a path of their future.
Linda, this is exciting. There was nothing like this when I was going to school.
No, me neither. I would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yes, it's super exciting. I like to say it's the youngest generation of, kids interested in the automotive industry.
Larry Sherman and Roger Conan, good evening. And the 26th is sponsored generously by General Motors will be there. And they're sponsoring it to make it extremely affordable. It's a sleepover camp for 6 nights, I believe, at Northwood University. And Katrina has been hard at work on that entire week's agenda. And great job, Katrina. And looking forward to Wednesday. And all the Fixed Ops Roundtable people who are going to be up there as well. So we'll talk some more about that. But tonight, AJ, we're talking about new owner clinics. So excited to get it going. And ladies, I know you have some questions for our panelists tonight.
So AJ, what is a new owner clinic before we kind of get rolling and deep diving into it?
Well, the bare bones of a new owner's clinic is just what it sounds like. Someone purchases a vehicle, or maybe someone brings their vehicle into your service department. And basically what you have clinics held in the service department. You might, maybe serve some food. And basically you're just showcasing what your dealership is all about, especially in the fixed ops end of it. Usually, the really aggressive stores will do it monthly. Some will do it quarterly, but it's definitely something you want to get people back into the service departments, because again, you can't forget the big adage of sales sells the first vehicle, service is going to sell the next two, actually. So that's what it's all about. It's getting people acclimated to where to go, who to see, and what your service department is all about.
And AJ, this is something that we used to do, but when that 5-letter word happened 4 or 5 years ago, we got away from this, right? In-person activities, but now AJ, it's back, and it's a great tool, I think, for retention as well.
Well, yeah, again, you hope that it's back because I think ultimately at the end of the day, it does all start with the sales department, especially with that sales to service handoff, which if you speak to a lot of service personnel, they'll tell you flat out that it just doesn't happen, at least doesn't happen often enough.
No.
And what ends up happening, if you look back when we got into the business, people were changing their oil every 3,500 miles. So you were seeing people 4 or 5 times a year, and that's barring nothing going on with warranty. Now, with the onset of your synthetic oils, the extended services, plugs, coolant, things like that are well over 100,000 miles, you're lucky if you get a chance to see customers twice a year. So not only do the service departments have to be on top and on their game all the time, you have to let them know where to go and who to see because they'll forget.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is going to be for Anne and AJ. I know you said that some dealerships do it once a month or every quarter, but Anne, in your opinion, how often should you have a new owner clinic?
So before COVID, we did one once a quarter, and they were very effective. It was fun because the shop, we kind of shut down at noon. So all the technicians, everybody spiffed up the shop, right? So, salespeople were up front because you had a little presentation in the sales department followed by a tour through the garage. So, and there was a different model vehicle on every single lifted up. So the customers walked through the shop. So the technicians spent the afternoon cleaning and scrubbing and making their bays presentable. And we were able to offer, some Honda swag. We were able to offer some food and beverages, and the customers really benefited from that. And they also, what we found happening were they were bringing guests in. So the customers that bought a car, maybe their sister, their aunt, their mother, their neighbor liked their car. So they would bring them to these clinics with them. And it was a great way to familiarize themselves. Because when you deliver a car, you have so much thrown at you at once. And it's not until you leave and, a week, 2 weeks, a month later, you're driving your car and you have 1,000 questions, or you think your car's broken, especially with all the electronics, and mostly it's operator error. So what we found was bringing them back in, we were able to review and have some product experts there, but it also allowed us to introduce preventative maintenance, and it allowed us to educate the customers because, like we said, handoff sales to service isn't always the best. So it gave us, a chance to meet the customer, thank them for their business, show them where to go, and then hand them preventative maintenance menus. So that helps build retention. Anytime you can get customers to come back to the dealership is always good because the more they come back, the more they're going to think of you for service. So, it was on, when customers come into the service, a lot of times there's a problem, so they're upset and they're angry. Well, this was a happy time to come back to the dealership. Yeah. So nobody was on guard. Everybody was just kind of learning and looking and open, more receptive to us talking and educating them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, how would you advertise something like this to new owners?
So we did mailers. So Honda, we would send out anybody that we already had a car for in the last quarter. Everybody got those mailers, welcoming them, inviting them to this new owners clinic. And then in the service department, as people came in for that quarter, we invited them as well. And we collected their emails and emailed them as well. Because we wanted it to be not only a new owner clinic, but anybody that had questions for service. And with all the warranties, inviting those people in, especially now with warranties galore, nobody knows, or nobody really had that great sales to service handoff. They didn't get all the education they needed about their car. We have people all the time coming in. My cruise control doesn't work. Well, it's operator error, or my lane assist, or my camera. So we need to get back to that to educate these customers and really set the tone for preventative maintenance.
For sure. And Linda, I have a question for you. So how do you plan for these new owner service clinics, and could you share some success stories?
Sure. When I was a service director, I would hold them the third Thursday of every month, and they were really well attended. We had people come back a second time or a third time because they knew the schedule, and maybe one of the owners could come one night, but their spouse or friend, they wanted to know more about the cars. So we had multiple visitors, and we got to have good relationships with them. It does take some planning. Yeah, you need to start about 4 to 6 weeks ahead and decide how big of a group you want. We would always invite customers who had purchased new and certified pre-owned cars that prior month. And if they didn't come that month, we'd invite them 3 months in a row. So if their schedules were a little bit busy, they always knew that they were welcome. We would have one person from each department get up and do a little introduction, including the F&I manager. Maybe I didn't buy a service contract. Maybe I didn't think about prepaid maintenance, but now I know somebody who I can talk to about those things if I decide I want that. Very much like Anne, we would have the shop, we would empty out our service drive. We had a red carpet. We had tables and chairs that we would put up. So it made it look like an inviting place to have a party. We would always get catering seasonally, depending on, cold foods or lasagna or whatever it would be. And we always had door prizes too. So people got door prizes. We gave gift certificates for small businesses in the area so that we would be able to show customers that we really were big into supporting our own community. We had some really great ones. I've also trained a lot of other dealers on how to do service clinics because it's something that everybody can benefit from, but a lot of people just don't know the basics of how to put it together. And Anne, it's not, you just don't wiggle your nose and have it happen. It takes some serious planning. Another thing that I've done several times, which I think is one of the success stories that came out of service clinics, we did a kids' day, where we would bring the kids in and introduce them to what the car business was all about. We'd have Boy Scout troops and Girl Scout troops that would come in on a Saturday. We would also incorporate that with our local police and fire department and have a police car, a fire engine, and an ambulance, and have basically a touch the truck day. And lots of little giveaways to keep the kids interested. And at the same time, if they wanted, we would have someone from Easter Seals, believe it or not, because they are certified at fitting car seats. We don't touch people's car seats because of the liability of taking it in and out. So the owner transfers it to the loaner car or the rental car, but we taught people the proper way with a specialist there. So that just kind of became a spin-off of the new owner clinic. And I'll tell you what, some of the nicest people in the world and some of the most loyal customers were the customers that I met through those owner clinics. So it's a great thing to do. And if anybody in the audience would like some help and some best practices and some ideas, I'd be thrilled to talk to anyone.
Linda and AJ, you are great consultants and friends with the industry, and you do this regularly, I know. And AJ, you've seen a lot of these and been involved as well with many of them.
I have, and I used to do them at my own store when I was a manager. And as Linda and Ann both said, you really have to showcase your culture, what you stand for, what your company stands for, your involvement in the community. You don't want to be viewed as just a place that sells cars and services vehicles. The one success that I found is when I went into a store and I was working with them installing an express service business, and that night they just happened to be doing an owner clinic. And I said, listen, I'm in town. Why don't we do an oil change through Express with a customer when they come in? So we got red cones and we put it around, and we got some stopwatches, and people got stopwatches and stuff. We brought the vehicle in, and basically I did all the narration of what's happening, how it's happening, look how fast you get your inspection back, and so on and so forth. And the people were they just lost their mind. It was really, really a fun time. But again, Linda and Ann had tremendous ideas. You gotta raffle swag. I took notes as well. Raffling the swag for the dealership or your OEM, the child safety seat. And again, to reiterate what Linda said, just don't touch the seats because of the liability aspect of it. It'll come back and get you. But really, there's a lot of fear with customers surrounding the service department. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to see. They don't know what it's all about. And this really just opens up the door for questions, service advisors' ability to give out their business card, to say to the customers, hey, listen, I want to be your car person. Come in and ask for me. And that just sets the tone to get them to continue to come back.
Yeah. And AJ, you just made me think of something. We're suffering in our industry in the service departments with independent repair facilities taking our customers. And once the warranty expires and they don't need to come to us, we need to give them a why service here. And if we can add value at various points in the ownership by having owner clinics, by having customer appreciation days, they're less willing to defect. And if they retain their car, they're probably going to come back and buy their next new car from us. So I think the formula is 11 visits in the lifetime of the ownership of the vehicle. They're more likely to come back. And if you can take somebody from a low visit of 4 in a lifetime to 11 in a lifetime, that's equivalent of selling 2 or 3 new cars in the sales department. So yeah, it's really valuable. So we need to pump up ourselves and do the why service here a little more.
And I loved what you said, Linda, about consistency. You had it the third Thursday of every month. I think that is so important because, like you said, if you missed it the first time, they knew your schedule. So I think that's a great takeaway is to be consistent with when you offer it, the last whatever it may be, but just be consistent.
And we got the sales department involved too. We would send out invitations, we would send out emails and just handwritten invitations, but we also bonused the sales consultant that had the most attendees. So they were on the phone, they were calling people, they were reminding them, they were keeping their name in front of the customer. And a lot of them did get referrals that way. So just, we don't promote ourselves as much as we should sometimes.
Agree.
Linda, and we assume the customer knows, Linda, right? When they don't know where to go for service. And when I bought my new car, I know the dealer, but nobody introduced me where to go for service to the advisor. And I was amazed by that, Linda.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying something, it's a great opportunity for service advisors too, because they can build a book of business. I mean, the bottom line is, if somebody is willing to work an owner's clinic and be aggressive and say, hey, listen, I want to be your car guy. I want to be your car person. This is my card. Here's my cell phone, whatever the case might be. And if they happen to be the only one that's willing to do that, then God bless them. Let them build their business and get the people coming back to the store. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
There's a
And
couple. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We talked a little bit about this before from the sales to service handoff, but AJ, what are the shortcomings of that? What are the shortcomings of the sales to service handoff?
They don't do it. That's the long and short of it. And again, I don't want to bash on the sales department because without them selling vehicles, we have nothing to service. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, it's not a priority.
Right.
In many instances for the salesperson to bring the customer back. Another thing too is many times cars are sold after people get off of work. The service department is closed. So they don't see the necessity or the urgency to walk them back there. And if you look at it from a sales point, and again, you have to know the sales end of it to appreciate this. And I sold cars for many years before I got into fixed ops. There is certain times throughout the process where there's dead time. Mm-hmm. Like when you're waiting for when you just sold the car and now you're waiting for F&I to do all the loading of the information and you have everybody sitting at your desk like, okay, what's next? Yeah. It's a great opportunity to walk the customer through your showroom, through the outside, show them where the night drop is and how that works. Show them where you come in through the service department. Show them, grab a service advisor's card or the service manager's card and hand it to the person. If you have any questions, this is this. And then in addition to that, we also have owner clinics. Like Linda said, every Thursday, first of the month, every Thursday, we have a new owner clinic that we invite you in to come back. It's just, and then you end up at the cashier where usually you'll pick up your plates and stuff like that. If you set it as part of your delivery process, and again, here's that word again, consistency, and you're consistent with it, it just becomes a thing.
Right. And I think Linda had a really good mention of that, saying adding initiative for salespeople to advertise it by seeing who can get the most in and adding bonuses on top of that. And during that dead time when customers are in F&I and waiting for that, like you said, AJ, that is a great opportunity to bring up the idea of, hey, when your car needs service, right here, here's the guy,
Some friends in the chat tonight, Nick Guerra, I want to just call out Mike Weldon, David O'Brien, Linda, is in the chat. Kudos to you. David, I think that maybe we could go into business together, you and I, Linda and AJ, and we could bring back these new owner clinics, David, all over the country, and we got the team to do that. So, Dave, think about that. That might be something we want to consider. I'm sorry, Linda, go ahead.
No, one thing I wanted to dovetail on AJ's comment about the sales to service introduction. I've worked with a lot of dealerships and we make a video. We pull into the service department, we're videotaping, we show the customer where the night drop area is, we walk through, the advisors introduce themselves, and we just send that out to every single customer who buys a car in case by some chance they didn't do the sales to service handoff, or I forgot something, or it happened, it was a nighttime, or some stores have Sunday hours when service is closed. And it was just a nice way to make sure that everybody got some kind of introduction to the service department. And they're fun to make. You can have a real good time with them.
So, Linda, important that we have sales and service and parts there as well.
Yes.
Another thing, too, it's a great time to also showcase your interactive multi-point inspection. If your dealership does pictures, if they do video, especially video, it's a great time to showcase to the customer, hey, when you bring your vehicle in for servicing, let me show you something that they do. And you could do it real quick on their vehicle and send it something to them. So this way they get an opportunity to see what it looks like because they love it.
Yeah. I know someone earlier in the chat was talking about how if it was too long, some of the customers would get kind of bored. And we have Sarah in the chat asking how long is the event. So I'm wondering too, how long do these new owner clinics usually run?
And how long are yours?
So we used to do 5 to 7. 5 o'clock, everyone would come in, mingle, have some hors d'oeuvres, have some drinks. And then, the presentation, usually by 6:30, 6:45, people were leaving. So, we set the time 5 to 7, but they, so people could come right from work. You don't want to have people needing to go home, change or whatever. You get more of an attendance if they don't have to stop home first, come right to the dealership. So typically 5 to 7 was our sweet spot.
Makes sense.
And that's why we feed them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So feed them up front, Linda, and then, and maybe get going with all the announcements and presentations during the second hour, like at 6 o'clock.
And then get them more hands-on, because like Ann, we would always have one model of vehicle represented for every customer who was there. Whatever they bought, we would have that car there. And when we finished our main, the formal meeting with the introductions, we'd have, first of all, a static vehicle that we would do a walk around on and show them certain things that they could check, the fluids, tire pressure, and we talked about, just the basic things like we do on a service advisor walk around. Then they would go into the shop and find the car that was like theirs, and they had a technician who would walk under it, show them. Nobody looks at the undercarriage of their car. They never get to see it. And then we would show them just some basic things that like the technician would do with the electronic MPI in the video, and then just have somebody there to pick their brain. Because like Ann said, so much is thrown at a customer when they take delivery of a car. If something doesn't work the way they think it is, it's broken. And where do we take broken things? To the service department. And 9 times out of 10, the technician's chasing ghosts because there was nothing wrong. The customer just didn't understand the feature, the function.
Very smart. Linda, one technician that night, multiple technicians? What do you recommend?
Multiple technicians. We would ask for volunteers. They would get an hourly pay to do it. They would get to include dinner. And I love the fact that every one of them would come out for this in a nice, fresh, clean uniform. They absolutely loved it. So
I think they take pride. You know,
They
a lot
do.
of them take pride. And so it made them feel good when customers were asking. And I think the customers to be able to talk to their technician, that wows them. That's kind of a wow factor. That, oh my God, this is the person that's going to be working on my vehicle. So I think that was very important as well.
yes.
And don't forget the parts department.
Absolutely.
Everybody forgets the parts department. I mean, we have to include them as well because, again, they are a very big integral part of fixed ops. And, you know, Ann, you said it, they feel appreciated. Your parts department, your service technicians, and when they feel appreciated, the customers feel that, they see that, and you'll get a lot out of it. You'll get a lot out of them. Definitely big returns.
And you might sell some accessories.
That's right.
All right, there we go. Larry Sherman, parts sells hours. I'll go ahead and quote that famous quote that you had from earlier. But we can't sell any hours. Tully talks about it's all about the hours without the parts. So important. Let me ask Ann and Linda and AJ. In the last 10 years, we've had a lot of new technology, especially like ADAS technology in vehicles. So when you get behind the wheel of a new vehicle, there's always something new, lane assist. And could you kind of make these owner clinics maybe part of it, like an effort to show off some of the technology during that time as well?
Oh, I think that's probably one of the most important things, having a product specialist available to be able to walk you through, because again, we have a lot of, so for instance, I work for Honda, and our customers are generally older, and they the technology is quite cumbersome. So I feel that is one of the most important reasons for them to come, is so that they can work one-on-one with a product specialist. Because when the salesperson is going over the vehicle, they're pairing their phone, they're hooking up, you know, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, they're setting their stations, they're downloading their phone book. There's so much stuff going at them. Then they take off and they drive, and after a few weeks, they're like, they have no idea, and understandably so. So I feel that having these owner clinics are so important, just so people can get their questions answered.
And it's funny, the big trend is to invite customers back for a second delivery, because there is so much that's thrown at them during the first delivery, and they've been there, they're tired, they want to get home, they want to park their brand new car in the driveway so everybody in the neighborhood can see it. So inviting the customer back for a second delivery, I think, is really, really strong. Owner clinics definitely help with that entire thing. And one thing I have done at a couple of dealerships where I've been consulting is we've started, pick a day of the week, and we'll do Tech Tuesday, Tech Thursday, whatever. And customers who buy cars are told, if you have any questions about your car, just slide by on Tuesday or slide by on Thursday, and we'll have a product specialist sit with you and walk you through things. It's brilliant, and it works. It wasn't my idea. That's not why I'm saying it's brilliant, but it really does work, and customers like to take advantage of it. You don't need an appointment, just slide on in.
And it
Linda,
builds relationships. You know,
Yes.
and it's all about relationships. That's kind of the business we're in. So I think that, you know, with the competition so fierce, we have to set ourselves apart. So what are we going to do? What is the wow factor that's going to set us apart for people to think of us and come in for service? Because the independents don't do that.
Right.
No.
And technology, like Ted said, technology it can easily get away with the customer. It is a little bit overwhelming. One thing that the new owner clinics are great, and it actually should be done at delivery, but you can continue to do this at new owner clinics. Every OEM has an app. And
Mhm.
on those apps, you can schedule appointments. You can show, reach roadside assistance or whatever. Show the customer and download how to download it onto their phone, onto their, their device, and then also give them a demo of how it works. And that's just the beginning of introducing them to that OEM product that they have. And it is great, but you definitely have to go over some of the technology. Absolutely.
So, Anne, if you are going to be doing a new owner clinic anytime soon, get me the information with the date and time, and I'll make sure that I will come to the new owner clinic, and we'll have the Fixed Ops Roundtable there, and we'll
I would
we'll
love
take some
that.
video and we'll document that, and we'll
Oh,
put it all
Ted, that's a
together.
great idea. Absolutely. I'd love that. You're
Yeah.
not that far from me, only a few hours.
And I think we could bring some friends too that we have on the roundtable who would like to come,
I love
especially
that idea.
especially before it gets too cold.
I
In a few months.
love that idea. You're on. It's a date.
That's a
Katri-
great idea.
Katrina, I think that Pohanka may consider doing something like this sometime soon when you bring back some of the information.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very happy to bring this back to my work and share it.
Katrina, I live close.
Yes,
He's right there. He can do
I
it.
know. We just found that out. That is crazy.
So 30 minutes went by pretty quick. I think we got to come back on the next Fixed Ops Roundtable this fall, and we got to do something on owner clinics, and especially, AJ, the sales to service handoff, which we'll all agree it just does not happen for some reason in our industry. We have an event coming up, Summer Palooza. You can see the background, the beach, the blue sky. Vanessa, when is, okay, here it is. What are the dates on this?
September 16th through the 19th. As always, 4 days, all virtual and online. And you can get your complimentary tickets right now at fixedopsroundtable.com. So make sure to do that. Summer Palooza.
Yeah, it's going to be here before we know it, everybody. And real honor to have Ann Lister from Williams Automotive Group, Linda Hansen with us tonight, consultant extraordinaire to the industry, Fixed Ops, as well as AJ Holst. AJ, I haven't talked to you since you were at my dealer, okay, over at Fetty Ford. And it's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yes.
We got to reconnect on that. And
absolutely.
And Katrina and Vanessa, looking forward to seeing you on the 26th at Northwood. And by the way, everybody, Northwood University in Midland, Michigan, great resource for our industry, graduates, students who are going into the automotive career, management and marketing. Two young ladies here as an example. Vanessa graduated in May, back now for her master's degree this year. This fall, we'll be back at Northwood. Katrina, I believe, Katrina, you're in your third year, right?
Yeah, I'm in my third year and I will be graduating this coming May.
And what are you studying, Katrina?
Automotive marketing and management. You can only find it at Northwood, so it's very niche and unique.
Yep. And Gen Z, everybody, graduates a lot of students. 43% of all dealership hires are Gen Z. All right. So consider that. And Northwood students are among the best. Tully Williams, All About the Hours, and Larry Sherman, welcome as well. So everybody, thank you for being here tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Sarah Van Tyne will be with us with Katrina and Vanessa. And we'll see you then. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.